Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome here to the Grand Prix of Styria, sponsored by Michelin, for an exceptional press conference from MotoGP legend Dani Pedrosa, Red Bull KTM Factory Racing official test rider, racing here at their home track at the Red Bull Ring as a wildcard for the first time since his retirement. Dani, first of all, a huge welcome back from everyone here at MotoGP. So many fans are hugely excited about the news that you're coming back here to race here. How does it feel to be preparing for a race weekend again, and how was the decision made?
Hi everyone, it's a pleasure to be here, and I would like to thank KTM for this opportunity. And for sure, you know, it's a little bit, you know, going back again to the old style of training. Of course, I didn't, you know, prepare physically like I would for a whole season. But yeah, it's again a little challenge, another motivation inside my current role with KTM. And so far, you know, a little bit strange feeling today, for example, because coming back here, doing a little media, seeing all the changes due to the COVID situation and seeing things differently. At the same time, seeing things also the same, when you prepare with your team the plan for the weekend. So yeah, learning a little bit also the new rules. I've been in the riders meeting to learn the new rules, applying on the practice and on the race. So just getting a little bit update overall.
Dani, since you arrived at KTM, the bike has made giant leaps forward in terms of its development. It's now a multi-winning MotoGP motorcycle, and you've played a big role in that development as well. How impressed are you with KTM, how they've worked, how you've worked? How proud are you of the project and how it's come along?
Yeah, of course, since the beginning, I could see there was a big will to make the bike better and also to make the gap they were facing at the time. So yeah, we've been working together really hard, and I think we did good progress since I started working. And yeah, I'm feeling happy and rewarded after all the last 2 seasons where the riders start to feel more in the front and feeling better with the bike. So yeah, it's been quite interesting to see how the commitment they've had in these years, and it's good to see that they are still willing for more.
Dani, 2 more questions for me before we pass over to members of the media. How is life as a test rider? Do you enjoy the role? And what are the expectations here this weekend? What is the general plan? Is it purely a test? Is this something that you can just go out and enjoy as a one-off?
Yeah, I'm enjoying the testing because I still get to ride a very good bike with you know, all the feelings you get on a MotoGP bike. At the same time, I'm not exposed to that pressure, so that's good. I have a different kind of pressure, but it's always good to be back on track. You know, 1 or 2 times per month riding the bike because it's what I love the most, to be on a bike. But at the same time, you know, you have to be focused, and you have to. It changed a little bit from when I was racing, so you do a lot different meetings than before. But it's a good thing, and expectations for this GP. It's hard to say. Honestly, we are here as a main target to learn about the current MotoGP race, because I sense that MotoGP is changing a little bit, and so far we did quite a good progress, like you said, but seems like now riders are facing in race conditions, they are facing some situations where for us off the race it's difficult to duplicate or replicate. And like, for example, they complain a lot, it's hard to overtake in the race, which means that you have to qualify very good. So then we're trying to understand that. So in order that when I'm again testing alone, I can more or less face their problems, try to manage that gap, and think a little bit how they would think on a race weekend. Just getting a little bit update on that. Of course, we have a little parts on the bike as well to test. So expectations is hard to say.
And lastly from me, Dani, a few hours ago it was announced that Valentino Rossi, of course, will be retiring from the sport at the end of the season. Your thoughts on that? Of course, as a rider who has retired, you spent many a race battling Valentino as well. Bombshell news in many ways for us to start the second half of the season, but could we just get your thoughts on that if possible?
Yeah, I mean, it's sad because it's something you never want to happen, especially when you are in a high level like he's been for so long. And like in my case was, you are feeling sad. It's a sad day, but it's something you cannot stop. At the end, sooner or later, it will happen for everyone. Especially in his case, is more special because so many good memories with him. And personally, I only can have a huge respect because he was before me. I tried to catch up on him, and we battled a lot for many years with our best, I would say our best, or let's say on our prime. And then I retired, and I see him still going, so it's huge respect, and just wish him the best after his retirement.
Dani, thank you very much. That's all from me. Time to pass over to members of the media, starting with Simon.
Simon Patterson from the race. Hi, Dani. Good to see you back. We know that for some time you've been reluctant to make a wild card, and that the guys at KTM have been pushing you to. What was it that changed your mind and finally made you decide that it was the right time to get on the bike in a race?
Well, like I said, I've done a lot of work these years without racing because we've been, working a lot on basic things, and after that it's been proved, and now we are working more on details. So to get more in line with what the problems or what the race team needs are, we have to also get a little bit more the feeling or the complaints they face on a race weekend. Mostly things are coming from battles due to aerodynamics, rear height device, start device, and all these new technologies. So that is a bit hard to replicate. So that's the point where we think, okay, maybe it's interesting to do one and then see how those problems are, and then we can, look at the future with that experience on, because I think since the time I stopped to now, that's being developed more and more. So the gap then of my last memory racing is a bit maybe big now, and then that's why.
Hi, Dani. This is Frank Weig from Eurosport. You more or less answered my question, but still I would like to know, you said, like Marc Marquez said when he returned after 9 months racing, 9 months injury, that racing had changed. Now you've been away for more than 2 years now. You talked a little bit, almost 3. You said that it has changed. But looking at the races, what can you see as a former rider, seeing what has changed? And also, what would you say is your, maybe you don't like to talk about it, but what would you say is your biggest achievement as a test rider now? What really has Dani Pedrosa's signature written on it, on the KTM, I mean?
Yeah, I will answer the last question. The first one I already don't remember. What I look for is to try to, I've been looking to catch up since I was working from the first day in KTM. I was looking how to catch up. Now that we reached certain level, we still have to reach how to improve, but also how to look more into the future. So I think that's why it's important to have a overall picture what happened when it's racing. I wanted to experience that for myself, so that when I'm testing alone, I can separate things. And then the first question was.
Well, that's more or less my answer to the question. But I would like to ask, what would you say is your biggest achievement then for KTM?
I think they could answer that question better than me. I try to.
What are you really proud of then?
Well, I'm proud that the riders are in front now and they enjoy the riding, and I'm proud that the team is happy for my contribution to them. But also I'm proud because the team I work with is a nice team, and it's always I'm always happy when I go to a test because the atmosphere is nice, and we make steps. So that's always sometimes testing you can get stuck and it's difficult to make improvements, but somehow we are all the time getting improvements thanks to the engineers in KTM, and yeah, that's very interesting.
Okay, thank you very much. Good luck.
Hi, Dani. Can
Hi.
you hear me? Hi. Hi. Tommy from Sport 5 Israel. Nice to see you, Dani. I have two questions for you. One, a lot of the test riders are competing at the same time to keep on their racing mood, to be fast on the track while they test. Are you worried maybe that you have issues getting into racing mood? Are you even planning to get into racing mood during this weekend? And also, I assume you had hundreds of laps around this track. Do you have an assumption how many laps you did with the KTM around the Red Bull ring?
Well, actually, I did a few tests here, but my last time was, I think before the last year's race, so it's more than 1 year. But anyway, going to the race mode thing, yeah, it's been a long time since I'm only testing and not racing. So I think that's gonna be a part of the whole process this weekend. All the guys are on race mood from the first minute, but I will try to do my best in that matter. But like I said, we don't come for to make high. No, since when my micro didn't work? Okay. Where I was. Yeah, racing mood. So let's see. For sure, it's going to be a gap there. Let's see how my brain reacts to that. I don't know. Honestly, I cannot answer. It's a bit hard question to answer.
Hi, Dani. Adam Wheeler here. Riders like Mika have come back. Jorge Lorenzo is going to race again. Cal is racing again. You're racing again. How easy is it to step away from something you've done your whole life and, just lose that adrenaline?
What's the question again?
How difficult is it to actually step away from racing? Because you see a lot of riders who retire, or some riders who retire and then come back to compete.
I cannot say exactly. I think it depends on every situation. If you really want to stop, I think it's not so, even though it's always hard, but it's more easy than when your career gets cut down for some other reasons. So I think it depends.
Hi, Dani. Thomas Beaujard from GP Mag in France. Two questions for you. First one, what's the biggest step the RC16 has made since you first rode the bike? And secondly, since you retired, how much did you improve your windsurfing skills?
My windsurfing is still poor, but I enjoy, which is the best. I have fun. Yeah, I still have to improve my jibe, but yeah, it will come maybe. And I don't know, the biggest. I would say the biggest thing I'm happy with the bike is that now the bike is raceable most of tracks. At the beginning, it was very clear to have suit only a certain type, and now it's suitable for more tracks and conditions. That's something very important to achieve for a World Championship.
Thank you, Dani.
Ciao Dani, Giovanni Zanagni from MotoGP Italy. It's the first time in the World Championship that you race with a bike that is not a Honda, but it's a different one. Yeah. It's something special for you or not? Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's true. It's my first race ever with a different brand. And yeah, it's going to be special for sure. It's new, a new thing. Although I'm already a long time riding this bike, it will be the first time in a race situation. So I will have to try to adapt to the characteristics of the bike, strong points and weak points, to race the others, because for example with the Honda in the past, I know the good and bad points, so I know exactly when to do things and when not to do things. With this being the first time in a KTM in a race, I will have to try to manage that without the same experience.
Hi, Dani. Neil Morrison here. We've seen how fast KTM has developed from rookies in MotoGP to race winners. We'd just like to ask about your point of view in this respect. I mean, how impressive is it as a test rider to see how quickly they bring new parts and how motivated they are to basically improve the bike, according to your comments?
Yeah, I think that's the key factor, because of the success we achieved in the last 2 years developing the bike, because of course you can say things, you can point things, you can ask things, you can have ideas, but if nothing is coming quick or correct, then you cannot make the step. So I in that point, it's clear that KTM have shown a really good attitude and will towards improving the bike. Like I said before, the engineers, the team, and the people working behind me, they are making a huge effort. So it's always sad. That's why it's a big satisfaction to work with them, because you are not sitting waiting for a long time to have some improvement in some area.
Hola, Dani. Lucio Lopez from Motorrace Nation, Spain. I would like to ask you if this is a one-time thing, or depending on the result, we could see you again in another tracks. Thank you.
At the moment is one thing, one race. Of course, we have to consider, let's say, what's the outcome of the weekend. If we learn things, we didn't learn things. If we miss things we want to learn, like for instance, if the race is wet, maybe we don't learn the things we want to know. So maybe we have to consider or not. So it's a bit of a guessing, but at the moment it's one thing, one race.
The last question.
Okay,
the last question for you, Dani, is in Catalan, and of course you may respond to the question back in Catalan as well. Thank you.
last one.
The last question, yeah.
The same one.
Hola, Dani.
Ah.
Soc Damià Aguilar, de Catalunya Ràdio.
Hola, Damià.
És només que em facis l'argument de la teva evolució com a provador de la marca i el per què aquest és el moment madur, oportú, per fer aquesta aparició competint 2 anys i mig després.
Bé, sí, hem fet un treball com tothom sap ja, de la KTM. L'evolució en els últims anys s'ha vist que ha millorat. He pogut fer aquest treball amb els meus tests rodant tot sol. Hem treballat molt la base de la moto i això ens ha portat una millora en molts aspectes. Ara comencem a treballar més alguns detalls, ja que la base ja la tenim bastant assolida. Però clar, encara hi ha unes diferències bastant grans entre rodar sol o rodar en cursa. Per exemple, els pilots es queixen molt de que en cursa és difícil adelantar, pot ser per l'aerodinàmica, pot ser per el sistema de la roda darrere. Hi ha sistemes nous com els de la sortida. Doncs llavors, evidentment, sempre entrenaré sol, però poder tenir aquesta referència de què se sent en l'actualitat, ja que penso que en els últims 3 anys la categoria ha canviat bastant, doncs actualitzar-me una mica amb el que són les sensacions de cursa per poder després separar les coses de les que jo provo, amb les que realment es necessiten o quines són les sensacions que es tenen corrent amb sol o corrent amb gent. I bé, evidentment algunes parts de la moto són diferents per poder també provar coses durant el cap de setmana, però més que res és actualitzar-nos una mica en el que és la categoria avui dia i així poder continuar amb l'evolució quan faig els meus tests sol.
Dani, thank you so much for taking the time for speaking to us today. It's great to have you back. Have a very good weekend here in Styria. Thank you.
Thank you.